Aloha and welcome to Josef's Model Railway and Toy Room. Thank you so much as always for joining me. Just a little bit of housekeeping. You don't need to like, follow or subscribe to any of the videos I put out there. Just put them out there where I can. Have a holly jolly great time doing so. Now, in this video, we are coming back to work on this fiddle yard at the moment. We've still got a long way to go with it, but we now start the next layer, which is we need to get a bit of a covering just to give a bit of personalization to the section. So that's what we've got in this video. And in the next one, we then have a little bit of a pause from the fiddle yard as we're still going to wait a couple of weeks for the track work to arrive from merry old England. So in the meantime though, let's get stuck into it and see what we're up to in the next part of getting our foam boards in. Well, let's get our hot wire cutters into action now, get them plugged in, and I can get my foam boards out and show you my tremendous plumber's crack in some top quality footage here, rudimentary measurements, and we just slide it in. Just getting those initial ones. You would love to know it that it didn't fit the first time. We got to get all the boards emptied out here, all that stuff that's been sitting there since the day we made the room. Clean it all up. Yes, I forgive myself for not strapping that belt up a little more. Suck, 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 clean, clean, clean. Lots of bits of insulation down there and what have you, but looking good. So was that all necessary? Well, it's never actually been done since we've started construction. And there wasn't a lot down here, but just a few little bits of ballast, and from drilling holes, a few little bits that I haven't caught, and a few little bits of insulation. But as you can see, that's a magnificent canvas now. And why I wanted to just stop you there for a jiffy is that, as you can see, I did cut my initial strip out. I just wanted to see to make sure it was going to fit. This bit is 1/2 mil thicker than it probably needed to be, and I might still need to trim it back so it's easier to get out, but hopefully in an empty cavity like this, it'll just drop in. And you can see it doesn't. So it's going to have to come back that extra 1/2 mil. It should drop if we just, no. So we have to come in. That's my bad. Don't worry about trimming up around the legs. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're just trying to make sure we've got the right template to keep cutting all these things up. So as you can see, 14.5 or 145 mil if you like. We need to come back, as I understand, all the way back to 15. So we'll just bring our guide back and we'll just cut another length of that down now and see where we're going to end up with this time. We can come back and trim the other one up, or we may not even need to at this point. So this is the bit we need to fix up. So we'll put that aside. Right, let us grab another sheet now. We'll flick our machine on. Right, let's check it out. We'll just mark this one as B for back, so I know that's the back end that got trimmed. Again, you wouldn't see it from front or either side, but that should do nicely. Yeah, that was a bit of a fluke, that pen falling into the foam board, but look, we've got it all right now as we lock all the pieces into their final section, and things are looking quite good at this point, I can honestly say. Just toward the last part of that time lapse, you probably noticed that while I was cutting the last section here, I deliberately did a pretty radical sculpt in here, and that's because the cord that is actually powering all of our accessories or lighting on the layout. Because of how the board is assembled, the hole for it comes in about this far. So it routes across, and you can see I cut a little thing that's going to fit the cable in, but you can see this allows for it to guide in. So fingers crossed, this final piece should just fit in. And it doesn't, but that's okay. Looks pretty good. So I've got this foam board, as you know I like to use, and I've got this sort of green grass mat. It's basically, that's paper, or it's basically a paper, and I want to glue it to it. I've got about 6 meters by half a meter to do, so I want to lather it and put it down. Best adhesive. I have a good collection of adhesives, but whatever you recommend. Right, as you can see from that time lapse, we've certainly cut up our foam board and created a base. And we've got a bit more we're going to try and get done in this video. But what I wanted to have a quick chat to you about, and the whole reason I said let's come in a little bit closer, is here's our incline kit. Now, unfortunately, I found this little bit of sticky tape at the bottom of it, and the bottom bit, which is very uncritical, has been damaged, or the seller has said he actually did use it in a demonstration and packed it up and forgot about it. The good news is he has another one. They're going to send it to us, which means there's not much more I can do. But you can see these sections link up, and you can obviously bend them around the corner and create these perfect set heights to get there. Now, the good news for us is if we take the actual tallest bit we have here and bring you up, now you can see how we've certainly raised this up by that good 30 mil or 3 centimeters, which works in our favor. And also the piece of track you see there will probably be sitting on cork or something, and I still need to put that power base under it, but just worry on the piece of timber for the minute. And as we come in, you can see that is too big, so that works in my favor. We're obviously going to have to cut this back. We don't need that entire height. Again, this is still going to come up a little bit, so we're not going to do anything in this video. We'll stop it here till I get the rest of what I need. But I think you can see if we were to push it back and keep coming down, we'd end up matching up to a height that best suits us. So I really think this is going to be the way to go. It'll curve and come down the back here. And as I said, it should come down to pretty much where that green accessory sign is. We should start matching back up and coming down. But the good news is, after some good chats with Woodland Scenics, the solution I wanted to do for staging all these consists, locomotives, coaches, wagons, what have you, we will be able to do. So our next step will be, we're going to lay a bit of a foundation on the foam board at the moment, for no other reason than the beautiful aesthetics that I'm going for in this room. So let's get to it. Marked and labelled now on all the boards, so we know where they all belong, and of course it all looks fantastic. So as we've got them all marked where they need to be, now we can commence the epic job of lathering on our Mod Podge mat to our wonderful green matting and get this stuff cut into shape and laid. Tried a few different ways. There's no real wrong or right way. Well, as you can see from that footage, some bit of experimentation, and we're going to need to try a slightly different approach here with what we're up to. Let's have a look at the result. Remember, once this is down with the green mat on top of it, we're going to have some of the Woodland Scenics foam bed on it, so it doesn't have to be absolutely perfectly flat, although it would be nice. The other thing as well is that You've got to remember, people often will set this up on carpet, not necessarily fine carpet like this, but the more sort of nice, lush, thicker, plush type of carpet. But let's see. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like from the camera, and my sweat from cutting the lawn is now arriving with me. Even though there are these bumps in them, they won't concern us in the slightest, other than seeing it like that. Also, when it's down on the angle it is, you'll be looking at it more on this type of angle. And that's not too bad. And your focus will be the locomotives. There'll be no scenery. It's just going to be this, the foam track bed, and the track and the train. And we want them to be looking great down there. So coming up to where you're looking at it in a grand overview, while you can probably see those creases there, it's not all in all too bad standing back from it. But I'm not really happy with it, and I think what we'll do, I couldn't find my wife's cricket roller to roll along, and I think we'll start from the middle and try and ease it out if we can. So that's the first one. Put the next one beside me with the leftover roll of the original one, and let's carry on and see what we can do. You can see I couldn't get a roll that was that, so that's why we're using, I had to cut it, that little strip off to reuse it, to reline it. Not so bad because it's actually the back bit. I'm even challenging the fact that you may not see it, but we're going to use it and we're going to keep it all looking as consistent as we can. So for me, the best bit was literally just putting that Mod Podge straight onto the foam board, lightly spreading it over it and just applying it, gently rolling on the green mat, and then just leaving a bit of weight on it overnight. And the results are okay, but look, honestly, this is probably not for everyone. It's just me because I like the green, but it's all good. It's done now. Very happy. Let's just enjoy the finishing touches to that last board. You'll notice there I did that one upside down, and you'll see me actually come back, pull it off, show it to the camera where it's wrong, and I had to correct it again. But it's all good, and we trim all the rest up, and results, there you can see, wasn't looking good. But we did give it all a good clean now, and here we go. Well, we've got it in. As you can see, while there's little bumps, like legitimately, that's not going to affect us in the slightest. And even here, and at the moment, it may seem like there's still a bit of movement here and there. Once we've got the weight down on the track and all the rolling stock, it's not so bad. Would I recommend doing this for other people? Not really. You could just paint it green and be done with it. But I don't think it's too bad in the grand scheme of things. Even around this joint, that's not the end of the world. It's all going to smooth out quite nicely here. You can see I should have cleaned up some of that Mod Podge. If I try and remove any more, what's going to happen is it's going to start lifting the green stuff. So I'll leave it. We'll put a fake tree there or something, I think. Keep carrying on. Just where the switch, that's quite good. I accidentally nicked a bit with the grass, so that's just colored in with a marker, but I think that did all right. And this is the little magic joining bit. So we've got this again, maybe a bit of a green marker or something will make it disappear. And as you can see, the back bit here, but by the time we've got that back line on there, I think we're going to be okay. And it comes down, again, a little bit straggly here on the edging here. I think it's all right once we start laying things into place. And again, some Mod Podge here and there, which again, hopefully our track beds will cover it. And a little bit of a raggedy cut down the end there, as you can see. But the focus isn't here. And if you're really not too happy about how that's all turned up, then it can just disappear and we can get back on the top. Well, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, as always, that's going to do it for yet another video. I'd like to thank you so much. Because without saying, I mean, honestly, reaching down and flicking the switch on, I think it's fantastic. We've still got a bit of work to do to clean that up a little bit, but we won't worry too much about that until we start getting the rest of the action going on. In the meantime, of course, though, we have had our Woodland Scenics foam bed arrive. We've got the big bulk pack of that, and we also have that other incline that we needed to sort out for going down. But of course, we're going to be waiting on some tracks at the moment. So until we've got the track, then we can come back to doing our DCC Concepts power base and going on with that. But we'll probably put that on pause for just a few videos now as we wait on the track work. But in the meantime, as always, thank you so much for joining me, and I certainly look forward to seeing you in that next one. Toodles! Lights out.